Good morning, all. Jai Sadgurudeo. My name is Srirang, and I have joined this satsang from North Carolina. So, before we begin this session, I would like to bow down and offer my prayers at the holy feet of Lord Sadgurudeo. I request everyone to close your eyes and either pay attention to the prayers or join with me, but be muted. बार बार वंदन करूं सदगुरुदेव हमार, यहाँ वहाँ सब ठाम में महिमा अपरंपार। शरण शरण मैं शरण हूँ, हे गुरु बंदी छोर। मोहे उबारो हे गुरो, यह 100 बार निहो। Welcome to yet another awaited session of our weekly Sunday satsang. So we started this series of sharing experiences of people who have attended 100th anniversary function, which was celebrated on December 17th and 18th. So we will continue with the same session today. There are a few more people who would like to share their experiences about the 100-year anniversary celebration. And as we heard during last satsang, also, those who have been joining Hindi satsangs, we know that this was one of the most awaited and very divine function from Vihangam Yoga, where Swarved Mahamandir's inauguration happened. It was basically inaugurated by Prime Minister of India, Modi ji. So we'll also look at some pictures, and this time we are not going to spend a lot of time looking directly at at the picture specifically, but I'll keep on playing those in the background while people will share their experiences of the event. As we know, 100th anniversary celebration happened. A lot of people visited. There were hundreds of thousands of people who attended the function. We heard, sansmarans from few attendees during last satsang. If you missed that satsang, you can subscribe to Vihangam Yoga channel or NAIVY channel on YouTube and get access to all the previously uploaded satsangs and listen to Surved Gyan and also the experiences that disciples have shared during our last satsang. So as we know, this during this celebration, 25,000 Kundiya Swarved Mahagyan Yajna was also performed. It was very divine. Sadgurudev and Santapravarji kept on iterating that this is going to be a big event, very spiritually, very spiritual event. People who attended this event, they actually experienced the energy from Sadgurudev, all the spiritual energies they experienced. It was very divine experience. So some of us were able to actually witness it firsthand. And we have few speakers or people who attended the session in person, and they are going to share their experiences. So I would not take much time, and we'll start with Jessica ji. She's shared her experience in last satsang as well, and she focused on the events prior to basically attending the event, and we did see how Sadguru energy worked with her to allow her to take care of family, and allowed her and Dave ji to attend this celebration without any hiccups. So we would like to hear more of your experiences, Jessica ji. So I will hand it over to you.
Jai Sadgurudeo, everybody. I just want to start off by saying that I feel really blessed to be able to share more of my experiences in India. I reflected a lot on what I shared the last time, and did realize shortly after sharing that my emotions were very leading, and I was jumping around a lot and did not so much focus on what I experienced in India. So I will basically start off where we came to the Delhi airport. And I was just so excited in that moment. We were supposed to check in with a kiosk to connect to the Wi-Fi to connect with Manoj Ji. And I was so excited. I walked out of the airport and past the kiosk, and I'm like walking around, and I didn't feel so much worried that like we weren't going to find him, because I knew that we were going to connect with him and that this trip was going to be amazing. So we found somebody that signed us into the Wi-Fi through their cell phone, and we connected with Manoj Ji, and we're like walking through the crowds, and then we finally see him, and just everything melted away. Any worry that like we weren't going to make it to where we had to go was just gone. And we started from there, and just driving through Delhi was so eye-opening. Like the culture and everything going on around me was just amazing. We were heading to where we were going to be staying for the night, and we finally found the place where we were going to stay, and we knew that we had to wake up early to meet back up with Manoj Ji to go to the train station. And there was like maybe like a few hours to sleep, so we rested for the night, and I woke up feeling very much ready for the journey and well rested. I did not really feel too much jet lag at the time, so I was just very excited to get on the way. And we finally made it to the train station, and we're boarding onto the train. And Sudhanshu Ji and his wife Neha Ji were running a little bit behind, and I was like, "Oh my!" Like, I pray that they're going to make it. And finally, they show up, and it just felt very complete to start the next part of our journey with them. And just being excited to like look out the window and see everything passing by, because it was a long train ride. So at times I did sleep, and then the times that like I woke up and I was able to look out the window, it's just like a very simple life. Like there's not so much commotion going on around, like as to where we're from, like the city. There's just so many people coming and going, and just kind of moving forward with the direction of seeing this place for the first time, and how fulfilling it felt to just be in the moment of what I was experiencing, which was like everything was like so brand new. And then we finally make it to Varanasi, and we're picked up from the station, and we're driving. And that's when I started seeing like all the Vihangam Yoga flags. And I was like, we've arrived, like we're here. Like I see life thriving, and it just seemed like we all had like the same motivation to get to where we were going to be, to experience all these events that were going to transpire. So we finally made it to the tents, and we're like settling in, and we finally make it out to like the walkways, and we're like gathering around, and we're all talking. And I looked up to Swarve Mahamadir, and I'm just like looking in awe, like how huge, like I've never seen a building so big and with like such meaning to it, like the purpose of it being built. is just so meaningful and just so amazing to just wrap your mind around it. And I'm like looking and I see Swamiji all the way up at the top. And I like pointed it out to everybody that was standing around me. And we all just like kind of like just like prayed and like bowed down in his presence. And I like to just experiencing him being so high up above us and looking down on us was like, I'm meant to be here. Like I actually made it here, and like I'm experiencing this in his presence and just embracing that moment. And I knew that like we were going to all meet up and meditate there, and I was just so excited for that because sometimes life gets so crazy taking care of the babies and everything that like I don't get much time to like really meditate, and looking forward to meditating with everybody in Soiree Mohammedir. So we wake up the next day and we meet up there, and usually when I meditate, sometimes I get pain in my like hip areas, and it's difficult for me to sit in that position, but there's no pain. I felt very grounded, and I realized that like this is where like the roots are for many generations to come, where this place sits thousands, 20,000s of people in this place to all meditate at one time. And here we are exclusively meditating at the entrance of Soiree Mohammedir. And I'm like embracing that. And I'm sitting with my feelings and my thoughts of just how wonderful this opportunity is. And if at any time that I felt like I needed to refocus to go back into the meditation, I opened my eyes. And normally, when you would meditate, you would have the picture of Sadgurudeo in front of you. But instead, I'm opening my eyes and this beautiful architecture, and everybody's just sitting with me. And it's so hard to explain that like when we started like the Om chanting, um feeling everybody do it at the same time and hearing that Om is so profound, way past just hearing yourself say Om when you're meditating alone. So it meant a lot to me that I was able to experience that, and just the volume of the meaning of setting the tone for that meditation. So we finish up the meditation, and I'm like looking around, and I knew that we would eventually also be blessed with the opportunity to take a tour of Soiree Mohammedir. So I'm kind of just like, I don't mean to like jump around, but I'm like just going with the flow of seeing everybody, meeting some people for the first time, being with Dave, and he like is connected in a way where like he influences like a lot of like conversation of spirituality, and just absorbing that and everybody's experiences for the first time, and moments where like we're going back to the tent, and like me and Monica G are spending time, and Rashmi G and her mother. And I remember at one point in time, I took out my phone and I turned on the Vihangam Yoga app, and I was just like gathering myself, and I love listening to the prayers while I'm at home. I do it very often from that app. And I was listening to my favorite prayer on there, my favorite bhajan, and Rashmiji's mother was like humming along and like singing, and I was just like, this is such a beautiful moment. Like, I want to cherish this, like, because I love that prayer for when like everybody like just is praying together and singing along, and just how impactful it is. And like the prayers just mean so much to me, so I like remember that moment, and I cherish that. And then we hit the streets, and we're like walking through the streets and going to like where the main event is. I believe that like we went there as just like a couple of us, and we just like made like an appearance, and then like we walked right back because there was an overseas program that like we were to be a part of. So that was like my first opportunity to like see the streets and like the little villages and the people that were like locals, just like existing and thriving, and like the colors of everything were like so amazing. Like, I love how colorful India is, like all the clothing, and just like seeing the different faces, and the happiness and the joy of like the humanity that like exists in Varanasi is just so profound. Um and we finally make it back to where the event is, right next to the cafeteria, and they're like setting up the stage and everything, and they're like building it. And I remember Maya G being there, and they were like building the fire pit that our chairs like surround it. And I'm like looking at the bricks, and one of the bricks said love on it, and I was like, oh, that's so cool that like these bricks are like literally like made with like love, and everybody's like just building with them, and like with the purpose of like the fire like keeping everybody warm. And that's like another thing that I recall, is just like the differences in like the weather, like the coolness. Like, it was very comfortable at night. Like, I love the fall, like the cool crisp air, and the smell of like the fire just takes me back to like memories of like when I was a child, like, camping. And Namdeo G finally comes, and we were in his presence, and like just watching him connect with everybody around him, and how peaceful he is just so admirable. Like, I love watching him connect to everybody, and just having that opportunity to be in his presence once again. But this time, like in India, just meant a lot to me, because when we were at the 99th anniversary a year ago in November, and I spoke to him, I told him that like we love India, we want to come out, and he was like, yeah, come out, you're welcomed and everything. And then it just finally all came full circle, and like here we are in India, in Namdeoji's presence, and just like how special that was to me. And like I can't really like put like a time on like how everything was just like happening. Like I believe it was the next day was when all the main events started happening, and the crowd was just growing more and more. And like I've been exposed to like big crowds in the past, but this crowd was different. um there was like not a feeling of like too much commotion, like too much is going on, any anxiety, nothing like that, because I've experienced that in like musical concerts in the past where it was like just too overwhelming of too many people. This crowd was like the purpose of everybody gathering together, and we were all experiencing this peace. And like the 25,000 Konyegna, being guided through that ceremony and having that guidance of like each person that came up to us to let us know like what we had to do. It just felt so cleansing, like you would almost think before experiencing something like that, that like so much fire and smoke being in one place, that it would be overwhelming and it would like bother you, but it did not like bother me. Like it made my eyes tear up, and it was a little bit difficult to breathe at some moments, but it served a purpose. Like it was like cleansing my soul to be there. And it was just amazing. And prior to that starting, like we knew that we were going to be there for like a while, like sitting down. So we had to, Dave and I had to use the bathroom. So we had to walk all the way back through the crowd again. And again, like so many people moving by and just saying Jessica Dave, and people are yelling it. And I just felt so a part of. I've never felt a part of something so big in my life, so meaningful. And like we finally made it back to like the village, and we experienced more of like the perspective of like the locals and like living there, and like how much I almost think that like being back home, like things could be like taken for granted. And then you come here and it's just like so humbling to experience that in itself. Like I'll never forget that. Like walking through the village and being like, this is like where I'm meant to be. Like that is like the main, like being in the moment. Like at any time in my life, if I ever doubt it, like, am I on the right path? Like everything has led me up to this precious moment, and just like cherishing the emotions that were coming along with everything. Um, And then I want to speak more of like what happened when we went up on stage, because I know I briefly shared about it last week, but I did not get so deeply into what it was like after praying and sitting up on stage with Swamiji as he was speaking. Bowing down to him prior to that speech, and just realizing that I am in the moment of experiencing something so divine, and it's just so tangible. Like I'm holding the garland, and I'm giving it to him, and there's like not a thought in my mind about like what I could say to him at that moment. It was just embracing being in his presence, and then like moving on. So when he was speaking, it was just so intense. And it doesn't bother me at all, not one bit, that my mind doesn't understand what he's saying. Like, I didn't feel like, oh, like this needs to be translated for me. Like, I know that my soul is listening to him, and my soul is absorbing the divinity of what he's saying and the message that he's giving out to everybody at that event. And I'm hearing people from the crowd like reacting to him speaking, and just how intense it was for them, and it just pours out of them. And I didn't understand it at the time that I was up on stage, and I'm like, why is this happening? So I did have to ask, afterwards, like, I believe I asked Dave, I said, like, why were people like crying out and like making these sounds? And he said, the energy of Sadguru is so potent that some people, like, it's so overwhelming for people that like they almost can't handle it, and this is like their outburst of emotions. And I was like, wow, like to be up on stage and to feel like it's almost like as if I was on the floor when he was speaking. I wouldn't have experienced that. Like, I would have heard it, but I wouldn't have had it projected towards me. So like, I'm absorbing his speech and his words, and I'm also like taking in the energy of the crowd, and it was just so impactful. And like, I can only put it in so many words how much that meant to me, that like, for a reason, like, we weren't directed to get off the stage, and like, we were up there, and just so much was felt in those moments, and it was like time was standing still. um I did not It did not even come to my knowledge how long we were actually up there until we came home, and I looked into it, and I was like, oh, we were up there for a decent amount of time, but it did not feel like that in the present moment. And then we finally do get down, and I'm like, I don't think that anything else in this trip could like top that feeling, other than being in Swamiji's presence and getting his darshan. So I believe it was like the next night, or it possibly could have been the night. It was definitely the night before we were leaving. Um, See, like, all these events and everything, like, just being in the present moment, it's hard to like really tell the time of things, because everything was definitely timeless. But it was the night before we were getting ready to leave, and me, Dave, and Monica G were at Swarve Mahamedir, and Monica G was speaking to the director of Swarve Mahamedir, and we were told to go get darshan with Swamiji. As we're walking over there, I had no clue what I was about to experience. I I wasn't even sure, like, if this was like really happening. It was almost like I was dreaming. That like, it's just so hard to put into words. It really is. But we get there, and Monica G is translating to the people that are going to take us up to Swamiji. And like, again, it doesn't it doesn't feel like I'm missing out on something or like I don't understand what's happening because it's being spoken to me in another language or it's spoken around me in another language that I don't understand. The way I look at Hindi and being in India and being around a lot of it and not understanding so much is translation is a beautiful thing. It literally bridges the gap between two totally different worlds. And that's what I love about India so much is not only can the people also speak English, but when it's being spoken in Hindi, it's translated back to me and then there is the understanding. But anything that like I might not understand in that moment because it's in Hindi, I just feel like my soul is taking it in at that point in time. And like in any other life, I could have lived in India and spoken Hindi. And that's why my soul carries the language and I keep it very close to my heart because like learning the prayers in Hindi is probably one of the most accomplished things that I've ever done in my life. Learning another language and praying in that language is a very accomplishing feeling. And like, I just give all of the credit to Sadhguru. Like, he's putting me here and giving me this understanding. And if there is lack of understanding, I always have those very close to me that can translate it for me, like Monica G. I was telling her this morning that she is one of Sadhguru's instruments in my journey. She opens up my mind to thinking in ways that like I would never thought before. So Monica G is definitely has her place in my journey and I cherish her friendship so much. And as she's translating to the men that before they took us up on the elevator and the elevator doors finally open, and not only is it Swamiji, but it's Sant Pravar as well. So it was double the energy, double the blessings. I cannot believe I'm in this moment. And I just felt like everything was like going to be okay. Like, here we are topping like the experience that I had up on stage at the main event. Like, this is topping it. And how did I get here? Like, and I have questioned myself, like how do I deserve such an experience that like this is happening? And we kneel down in front of Swamiji and Monica G is speaking, and then there's a man there translating for Dave G and I. And I remember saying, you know, like, because he gave us the order of bringing in 100 families, and I spoke and said, you know, it will help so much to have the English Warvade. Like, it'll help us understand and bring the words of Swarvade into fruition of anybody that would love to understand Vihangam Yoga more. And that's when we received our copies of Swarvade Muhammadir. I wish that we could have taken much more, but I just asked for 3 because I knew that I could bring them back home with me easily. And I cherish those 3 copies. I know that given to me from Swamiji are these 3 copies, and he knows the deserving souls that will come into my life, and he will open my heart, and I believe that I will know the right time and the right person to give this knowledge to and these blessings to. And again, like, I'm in his presence and I'm just in awe that, like, in this life I have met the master, and I've never experienced such divinity in such a tangible way that I'm thinking, like, what could I say to him? This is when my soul started stirring, and I'm feeling the emotions, and I'm feeling motivated to think like something to say to him. And what came to mind was to just tell him, I love you. And it's such an American thing to say. And I'm thinking, like, it could definitely be translated to him in Hindi. But when I said love and what I meant when I felt that, and I wanted him to hear that, to me, the word love should be understood in all languages. And in that moment, like, I wanted it to transcend, like, the love of human emotion. Like, I wanted it to, like, transcend to, like, that spiritual sense of, like, love. Like, I feel protected by you. I feel like I've found my home and my shelter in you. And that's what love means to me. And to just be able to tell him that, and to tell Saint that, I feel so blessed beyond measure. Like, I can't even put a measurement on it. I will cherish that moment forever. And I will know that if at any point in time in my life that I have ever told somebody that I love them, that at this particular time in space where I told Swamiji that I loved him and I told Sant that I loved him, just that hope of, like, coming through to him, that, like, and I know that he heard me. Like, I felt like translation was not needed. I'll always remember that, and I'll carry that moment with me forever. So as we're leaving and we're coming out of that experience, I was like, this is where everything is going to start to unwind. Like, I'm preparing now to move back to my home with my children. And I don't feel like I have much opportunity to really give, like, proper goodbyes to everybody, but it wasn't like I was saying goodbye. Like, I felt like that connection had been made to where, like, it will continue on in my journey. My soul absorbed so much from being in India that, like, the energy carries through with me and can be used to fulfill my purpose and our purpose as a family, as an organization. We carry those experiences and those emotions, and we move forward with the hopes that, like, bringing in more people to know that, like, I experienced a place where, like, such high amounts of spirituality was thriving. I'm not sure if I could ever top that, but then, like, I think that, like, Swamiji has so much in store for us and for myself that it most certainly can be topped. And I just, getting on the airplane and coming home, it was bittersweet. Like I knew that I had to come back and that there's a purpose for me back in the United States, and just missing being that close to Swarve Mohammedir and just missing being literally inches away from like surprising Darshan, like it could happen again, you know. I hold on to that, knowing that like we have an ashram that's being built here, and we have Swarvade to share with the United States. You know, my only hope is that we can all come together as a whole and spread this and be on this mission to the ultimate goal, you know. And I think like in this life, I want to focus so much on that my soul may not experience complete liberation, but that there's that purpose, and that I know that Swamiji will hold me in the next life. Like it's almost guaranteed that I've experienced this in this life, that there's more beauty to come in my next life as well. So liberation doesn't need to happen as long as he has that purpose for me, and I just have to take it one day at a time. And I mean, that's all. I would love to hear other people share their experiences as well. And I really appreciate this opportunity again to speak. Thank you so much, Jessica or Dave.
Sadgurudeo, Jessica ji, thank you so much for sharing this all wonderful experience that you had. I would like to ask one quick question to you and Devji. I know it's hard. Changing your food habit from one way to the completely different for 3 days. How was it? How was your experience when you were in Sorbet Mahamandir and completely different food all the 3 times? And then the mindset that previously before going to India, what was running in your mind? And when you reached there, how was the difference? What did you see? What did you notice?
Okay, I'll speak first, and then Dave wants to also speak as well on that. When VJG told me that the diet was going to be, you know, strict vegetarian, I was definitely open to it. I eat a lot of what Dave eats at home. I my eating habits aren't really the healthiest. Sometimes I don't even eat, but maybe one time throughout the day. I definitely don't eat 3 times a day as I should. Sometimes I eat the leftovers of what my children did not eat just because I'm running around cleaning up, taking care of them. And I just put my eating on the back burner, so to speak. So I was definitely excited to be in India for a week eating that, because as Dave has introduced a lot of Indian cuisine to me, I was like, this is like the chance to like really experience like some authentic Indian food. So I was very excited, and it all like started on the airplane. Like we went in and we asked for the Asian vegetarian diet on the airplane, and it was very, very tasty. The energy that I got from it was amazing. There was not really anything there that I did not like. I felt very blessed to actually have 3 meals a day. And and the opportunity to just like sit down with everybody and eat together. And I know that it means a lot more to Dave because he has been vegetarian for a while now, for going on a year. Yeah. So he could definitely speak more on that. But for me, the mindset that I had going into it was like easy going. I didn't feel like there was going to be much complications from it, or that I wouldn't like anything. We have a place close to home that's the flavor of India.
Yes.
And we go there often, and Dave cooks Indian meals very well too. So yeah, it was very authentic and very tasty and fulfilling. But Dave will share more on his.
Just Sadgurudeo. Yeah, I'm real glad you asked that question, because honestly, when I started eating over in India, the food, my digestion did like a whole 180, and I was feeling better, more energy, digestion. I haven't digested food that well since I was like, I can't even remember, my childhood maybe. But oh my God, the difference between the food in America, even vegetarian food in America, the vegetables and everything, the difference between India and America is vast. I mean, I was pretty convinced by like the fourth day that most of the food and agriculture in the United States is probably somewhat poisonous from all the insecticides, geo modifications, and bioengineering and everything. The food that I ate in India, I was really convinced is like, I made a decree that like I'm going to buy only food that is grown in India after that, because it was so vastly different to me. I mean, I was like a spark plug the whole time I was there. I mean, yes, there was some energy about the whole thing going on, but generally my digestion, the vitamins, the nutrients in the food from India versus the food in America, it was vastly different. Yeah, I noticed that within like the second or third day. I was like, wow, I feel more healthier than I felt in years. And like Jess said, my diet was vegetarian for a year now. But I mean, a lot of the vegetables that you buy in the United States, if you don't pay close attention to what you're buying, they tamper with it in many ways, especially to rush the growth of the plants, and the insecticides they use for profiting off of more crops. It's just, it's my suggestion to anybody is really pay close attention to the food that you buy. I mean, you can get decent organic, non tainted food in the United States, but you got to look for it and make sure that that's what you're buying. Um, that's what I gathered. And, I said last week, like India, everybody has a different, it was a completely different demeanor. They're, it, I mean, I'll just say it's the most beautiful, wonderful place I've ever been. I hope that, after my original goal, after I fulfill all my responsibilities in this country of raising my children and all that, I hope to be able to go there and stay there permanently. I do believe the one person from Italy actually lives in India now that we met. So obviously he must have came to the same conclusion as me. It's just spirituality and health and well-being comes first, and then everything else comes second. So, and also, I'll say once again, everything that Prime Minister Modi is doing in India is absolutely phenomenal. And I think we could really benefit in this country from some of the ideology that he's bringing to the people in there. So I just want to give him one more shout out, because he's doing a really great job of keeping the spirituality and the culture alive, but also bringing in good changes also. So that's pretty much all I got to say.
Thank you
Jai
for
Bharat.
sharing. Yeah, it's nice. Thank you for sharing. Over to you, Siranji.
Yeah, thank you, Niranjanji, for such a wonderful question. And thank you, Jessica ji and Dave ji, for sharing your experiences. From your experiences, one thing is very clear. You had, full surrender to Sadhguru, based on how you were narrating story, Jessica ji. The food, the food was no bar. Not understanding language was not a problem. It was like you were into a completely strange land and you still felt at home. That shows that how surrendered you were to Sadhguru, right? And Sadhguru has always said, the Brahmavani or Sadhguru's Vani and the Swarved is for soul. It is not for our. It is not for this jad or gross body, but it is basically for soul, and you actually experienced it firsthand. So it is really um, I'm struggling for words. It is so profound that you could actually experience what Sadhguru was saying, and you could actually, your soul could feel it. So it is really a profound experience. I think I should definitely learn from you how to surrender completely to Sadhguru, so that I can also experience his energy at the level you are experiencing it. So it is, really, you are just such an inspiration, you and Devji both. Thank you for sharing your story. So you are also saying that the copies of Swarved is available in English now, and you have few copies. Lalmani ji just shared that now we have plenty of copies of English Swarved. So whoever is interested in getting those, I think you can contact us, and then we can arrange a copy for you. Uh, so that is another good news, because we have seen a lot of inquiries from people who are interested in learning Swarved, but because they don't understand Hindi, it was kind of a blocker for them. But now we have the opportunity open for everyone to learn from Swarved. So just keep that in mind. We have plenty of copies available now, so those can be shipped to you. Okay, so we will move on to the next sadhak who attended the same function, and I will hand it over quickly to Megha ji. She has been a dedicated sadhak for a very long time. I think her parents are also connected to Vihangam Yoga from very long time. So over to you, Megha ji. We would love to hear from you about your experiences of this 100th anniversary function. Over to you, Megha ji.
Thank you, and Jai Sadgurudeo to all. I offer my prayers to the humble feet of Swamiji and seek his blessings. This was indeed a great opportunity. Jessica ji, Dev ji, and others have already expressed. I will not go through those again, but just being in that moment, for me, it's very difficult to even describe in words. It was like Shiranji just mentioned, I have been a part of Vihangam Yoga family for a very long time. But to attend a program of this magnitude, it was a different experience of altogether on its own, which cannot be described. You have to be there to feel the vibes of the people, the air, the energy, to witness Surveyed in person. The magnitude of it is like it blows your mind away. But for me, I had two big takeaways from this event. When I was traveling from here, I had a few questions in my mind. Every one of us had like different questions. For me, first was Vihangam Yoga does not promote anything that is materialistic. But we are going for an inauguration of a temple, which is part of this Prakriti, which is very material, and we are promoting it very heavily. Why? I had that one question in my mind. And once I reached there, I did see, I'm not sure if, I think this could be a very lame question for a person with not much experience, or maybe not the right question for a seeker, but I did have that question in my mind. And however, I did get some answers. First, what I felt was this was a big landmark in the history of spirituality. For ages, this knowledge have existed and it has been lost, and it comes back in different eras. So this was a landmark. This is going to be a landmark which is going to have a stamp in the history where this knowledge will not be lost. That was my answer to this. That people are going to acknowledge this knowledge for centuries to come now. People are not going to forget about Sahaj Yoga, Brahm Vidya, Vihangam Yoga. This knowledge is going to be, this is the beginning of spreading the knowledge of Vihangam Yoga. That was my interpretation after looking at the survey. The magnitude of it is going to attract, this is like a magnet that is going to attract people from across globe to come and seek spirituality, come and meditate and have that experience that people seek but do not achieve anywhere else. Other takeaway that I had was the presentations that we had from all different countries. It was amazing to see how all different countries, people from are facing some challenges in their own country for prachar. I always feel I had given myself excuses for not doing prachar. Where I see challenges in other countries, their challenges are even much higher for people to not express in the language. For example, people from France, Italy, language is one of the biggest barrier. English and Hindi it's still widely known language to most of us. So for me to say that I cannot do prachar because it's survey is in Hindi, and I always had my own excuses in my mind. And I am not good in Hindi. I cannot understand it with 100% clarity. How do I explain it to someone else? These were the roadblocks that I had in my mind. But seeing their people presenting the challenges that they have, how they fight with it. Like the team of Italy translated survey. For them, neither Hindi nor English is the primary language, but for them to understand this and translate. So that was very inspiring for me to see that how people overcome these challenges, not just sit with those challenges and not take any action about it, but make an effort as to what they can do to promote or for more prachar of Vihangam Yoga. So I come very inspired learning from other teams, how even though language is the barrier for them, the place, for example, if where a country where it's like cold for 8 months, for them to have events, it's difficult to promote events and meet people in person. But here we are lucky enough to have many people close by. New Jersey has a very close connected team where they can meet in person. North Carolina has a very close connected team. So I was inspired by those talks that when we were hearing how people are overcoming challenges, that was motivating to listen. And one more, another opportunity that I had. As Shrirangi mentioned, my parents are associated with Vihangam Yoga for a long time, and I was with them for 10 days that I was there in Varanasi. I got the opportunity to be on the seva at the ground level with them, to go and see all different kind of seva that was going on. It was a very humbling experience for us. People, we had people traveling from abroad had most of the trip planned very nicely, where we would not have I would say not major obstacles. We did not have to worry about where we are staying. We did not have to worry about the food. But I got to see people who had traveled from far. I saw people who were carrying mattresses on their head so that they could stay on the tents with their beddings, with their food, clothes, young kids, to see that what people are going through just to be part of this event. And what was I complaining about that? Oh, I'm traveling from so far from US. Not a big deal. People were there like with everything that they could. People helping each other, two people carrying bags together, and being a part of the group. And you should have seen the smiles on those people's face. They all were happy to do that. That was the biggest amazement for me to see that they're not complaining that they have to carry because they're not being provided for things. They were happy to take their own things and be there. It was just humbling events that we take few things for granted and few things that we feel we are entitled for many times. That seeing those people, I felt that we are not entitled to anything. We should be humble enough to just be present there, to have that opportunity to be part of this great event. I was also in the Seva there. There was a canteen that was set up for people for food, because just the magnitude of people that came for the event, it was not possible for all food arrangements at one place. So it was scattered. We had those food stalls from all different states. I was representing the state of Rajasthan canteen there. And we started selling food just to put a value to it so that people don't start wasting it. It was 100 rupees, unlimited food there. And I'm showing all my ignorance that I was there with. That for me, that 100 rupees, I feel like, oh, this is so cheap. This is all, I had a lot of, I'm saying it was an enlightening moment, because I could acknowledge my own ignorance there. That was my enlightenment. So when I think that 100 rupees is very cheap, 100 rupees, like what for us, for me, it was like, okay, it's less than $2. People getting unlimited kind of food. But when you see people coming, asking, and not being able to afford that 100 rupees, and they go back. But some of them, they come with kids, like, only kid want to eat. Can you reduce the price? He is really hungry. Can I buy only for my kid? He's not going to eat 100 rupees worth of food. Those were a very humbling experience for me, that again, we feel we are entitled. We take things for granted, that there are many people who cannot arrange for food on a daily basis. For me, that 100 rupees, which initially felt was very cheap, I realized that it means so much to people there. So many times we don't like the food that we eat. For us to spend lavishly on the food at many times, taking food for granted, seeing that kind of experience there, that people have the respect for food, that 100 rupees, how much they value that 100 rupees of food, was very humbling and eye-opening. And like when I come back, I have to make sure that my kids also understand and value that, respect the food, that whatever food is on the plate, to respect it and eat it in respect of, and not be choosy that I want only this, I want only that. And seeing this experience, that how humble experience this was, in one of the presentation, how I could also connect was the Australian team when they presented about Sadgurudeo education. I don't know if anyone has mentioned about this presentation before. Sadgurudeo education is where the team of Australia has teamed up with a remote village in India, where they train people in two fields. One of them is IT, and another field is sewing, where ladies, they get sewing machines and they stitch suits. We were given a very beautiful handbags that they have made. I also got a chance to visit the store where they had created some of very beautiful dresses. And so that was very that was something that I brought with me. I don't know how and what can be done, but I feel that we can all contribute in all countries, not just one country like Australia, but even here, if we can find some ways to give back to the country where we belong, where we all originated from, and try to help people there. People I've seen when I was in the stall, also at the canteen, that people are hungry for opportunities. So if we can do something as a team, if someone has any thoughts, that's why I'm bringing it up right now. I would definitely try to connect with you, and I would like to, be part of that service if we can, and start at a small magnitude somehow, where we can connect and provide some help to people there. People are really seeking opportunity, and if we can be a part of that, that connection that brings people in that opportunity, I think that will be another big favor to Brahmvidya, to Vihangam Yoga, where we already do a lot of social activities. Shiranji has been actively active on it. So not only in US, but I will also request if someone has any idea. I do not have any idea, but I am from inside. I feel that that thought keeps coming back to me, that we can do something, just like Sadafal Education that the Australia team is doing, where we can contribute in the same way. And if every country does even a little bit, that small contribution from all other different countries can make a little bit bigger impact into the society, into the community, where people can stand into their own feet and provide for themselves. I think these are my big takeaways from my trip to India. And if I've said anything, I apologize that I would have hurt anyone, or if I've said anything wrong, I apologize again. Thank you, and Jai Sadgurudeo.
Thank you, Meghaji, for sharing your experiences, especially, the part where you actually talked about the social side of Vihangam Yoga, right? It is, we are not only promoting spirituality and the Brahma Vidya knowledge, but we are also trying to help people who are in need. So, highlighting the social activities that Vihangam Yoga conducts is very important. Thank you for bringing that point forward. It is it's very enlightening, and I really liked the question that came to your mind, where people usually ask why we are spending so much on a mandir and not getting involved in other causes like building hospitals, etc. And it is very challenging to answer those questions, because if someone is if they have decided on a particular response, or if they have a particular mindset, it's very difficult to convince them. But the analogy that comes to my mind is it is acting like a lighthouse, right? You need a basically in this vast ocean, if you want to find the right path to progress in spirituality, where are you going to go, right? So I think it acts as a lighthouse to show us direction in this vast ocean, what's the right path to follow. So I think that is one analogy that comes to my mind, but I really appreciate you bringing that question up, because I think that gets asked a lot. And I really also appreciate you bringing up the noble thought about conducting more social services, not just here locally, but also in India. So really, thank you for bringing that forward and pitching that idea. So I think we actually have few more speakers, but looking at time, we will take only one, I guess. So Sudhanshuji, I would also like to invite you to share your experiences about this event.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sriranji, for this opportunity. From last week, I'm listening the experience of all those devotees who visited this event, which is filled with divinity, which is filled with the blessings of Sadgurudeo. I heard the experience of few of the disciples who went for the very first time Monica ji, Dev ji, Jessica ji, Niranjan ji from California, and many others. And by listening and by seeing their experiences, uh, it is so overwhelming. It is so deep spiritually that I don't know what else left to say, but I'll share my experience in just 5-10 minutes by seeing the time what we have. So if now I'm just seeing backward and just trying to analyze the whole event through which we all went through, now I experience and I understand why Swamiji has mentioned to all of us that you must should come to this event. This event was filled with so much divinity within itself. I believe it was important for us to be a part of it and to understand what Vihangam Yoga is. Not only understand, to experience the spiritual power which was present there. Also to prepare ourselves for the Vishwa Prachar, which I think is uh, the effort is gonna be very intense in coming years now. So if I start with how I started participating in this event when I went to India quite early in November itself, after so much hindrance that I'm gonna participate on that event or not. But at the end, we were in India, and I remember the day I have to catch the train for Varanasi. I was awake from past 48 hours because of some of my office work. And when I had to catch the train, I was not sure that even I will be able to catch the train because I was very late. The cab was not there. But by the grace of Swamiji, something happened in between. Some people came in between who made it easier, which was not possible, but they made it easier for us to catch the train. And I met Manoj ji, Dev ji, Jessica ji there on the train, and we started our journey. The first experience what I had uh, was seeing my own country with the eyes of Dev ji and Jessica ji. And what I experienced that it's like sometime uh, if a book is too close to your eyes, you are not able to read it clearly. So it was like that kind of experience that I was, uh, watching my own country. I was watching those small things with the eyes of Dev ji and Jessica ji. And it was when I was listening their experience, it was kind of a eureka moment for us that, okay, wow, really, this thing is so true. But I was never, realizing it because it was so simple for me in the beginning. Well, when we reached Varanasi station, that moment, it was an experience for all of us that this event is so huge, so divine, that entire city is celebrating uh, this event of Shatabadi Samarambha Mahotsav. Entire city was filled with Ankit Swet Dhwaja, and when we started from Varanasi station to Swarvid Mahamandir Dham, throughout the road, both side, you saw Ankit Swet Dhwaja on the streets, and it was like entire city is celebrating the Shatabdi Samaroh, Shatabdi Samaroh with all of us. And when we reached to Swarved Mahamandir Dham, And even there, within the Sukrit camp, the camp which was built for all the overseas devotees. I believe all of us who was there will connect with it, that in this huge gathering, in this huge event where, hundreds of thousands of people are there, you had a ambience of such divinity and such luxury, both in a combination of both. You have all the facilities, you have everything, and where? In the campus of Swarved Mahamandir Dham. So you are coming out from your tent and you're seeing the divine Swarved Mahamandir Dham in front of you. And I believe all of the devotees who was there will definitely connect to us. Whenever we were coming out and whenever we were standing in front of Swarved Mahamandir Dham, it was like you're standing in front of a powerhouse, and when you see it, you are, absorbing the energy of that. So for me, this event which we all attend, that event was to know what Vihangam Yoga is, how divine it is, as well as to understand how big Vihangam Yoga family is, what kind of disciples are in Vihangam Yoga family, and how the principles of Vihangam Yoga is in their life. So just give you an example. I will come to Sukrit camp later, but just to see how it was, fully involved in the lifestyle of the disciples who was there, that if you just see the basic difference, like when we all were there, for us, everything was very much planned, and you don't have to worry about anything. Like if you're there, you don't have to worry about your stay, don't have to worry about your personal space, your food, uh, how you will attend the event, like you have arrangement to sit in the front and experience the thing, right? uh, Even the darshan was planned for you later. So what my view was, like, it was arranged so well that you are you only have to think about the event. You only have to think about all the things which is planned for you and experience that. On the other hand, I also see hundreds of thousands of disciples who came from different parts of India, and uh, they had all the challenges as well. Definitely, because it was a so big event that it was not, you can say, within the comfort zone of everyone. But what was the beauty? The people who was there to attend with their family in so cold, who are out of their comfort zone, but they had the code of Vihangam Yoga within themselves. What was that? The selflessness. I I didn't see the feeling in any people who was there that, okay, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have opportunity to take a darshan, maybe I will not see Swamiji in front of me. No, I mean, only one core feeling was within all the disciples, that Swamiji has called us in this event, I have to be there. Irrespective of all the, problems, all the discomfort is there. As a disciple, as a Shishya, I have to be there. So it was a great experience and learning for me, that you have to be so selfless in the seva, that doesn't matter what kind of discomfort you have, you are connected with that divine master, that you are not experiencing anything, whatever you are facing. There is a divine smile on your face, and you are on that zone that my Swamiji has called me on that event, and I have to be there, irrespective of what is the outer circumstances are. It's cold, uh, places tent is there or not, uh, food is there or not, doesn't matter. Swamiji has called us. So such selfless, divine souls are there that it was a, you can say, divinely experience and a learning for me that if you really want to be the Shishya of Swamiji, if you really want to be the Sevak of Swamiji, it's a learning for you that you see there are hundreds of thousands of people who have those qualities. First, let's acquire those qualities within ourselves. Then at least I will be one in that crowd who can say that, okay, I have at least that basic quality within myself to be the disciple of Swamiji. It was so filled with learning for me that how selfless Shishya are there and how much, the divine qualities I have to develop within myself to be one of them. What was the second thing I saw? That you are in the crowd of hundreds of thousands of people, no one knows anyone, but there is only one thing just needs to come out from your mouth, and it's like you are brother from lifetime. You meet any people, just say Jai Sadgurudeo, and now you know each other. And we all overseas disciple must have experienced this, that whenever the disciple from our country, they get to know that, okay, you came from overseas, they were so proud within themselves. It was like even if they are in so much discomfort, they felt their priority is to make you comfortable. So that experience was really very divine for me to see how disciples who are there, who are so much in seva, who are so much involved, indulged in the divinity of Sadgurudeo, that they were thinking about others before themselves. So that was the thing which I saw outside when I was in the event. Now, just few minutes what I saw within the Sukrit camp. So what I saw outside, that gives us a experience that what qualities we should try to develop within ourselves with the blessings of Sadgurudeo. And within Sukrit camp, I mean, each and every moment was like a learning moment for me, that what we need to develop within ourselves. See, Swamiji was giving so much blessings to the overseas team. We all have experienced that. The moment we reached the Sukrit camp, from that moment itself, Acharya Parivar was showing their blessings, their time, their availability to all of us. The day we all reached, the same day, Sant Pravar came to the Sukrit camp. He visited the camp, meet all of us, gave darshan, give prasad to all of us. So the divinity started from day one. And there was 3 program happened within Sukrit camp. The day one was meet and greet. And it was such a divine experience for me to meet our overseas family. You know, Vihangam Yoga team was in different countries. And I believe, especially if I talk about myself, I know few of them just by name. I never met them in person. And when I met them in person for the first time, it never felt me like, okay, I am meeting them for the first time. It was like, they are brothers with whom you are meeting after hundreds of years. Such, connection you feel when you meet them for the first time. the level of divinity you feel within themselves, the amount of prachar they were doing, the level of experience they had. It was really a great experience for all of us to see, meet them, and understand and listen their experience, what they were doing in the prachar. We also heard 2-3 talks of Sant Sri Namdev Ji Maharaj, where he showed his blessings and explained us how we have to do the prachar, how we have to, uh, take this Visa Prachar in the next level. So the event happening within Sukrit camp, that was an event I believe I experienced, that to prepare us, that see what we have to do next when we will go back to our country for the prachar. We if you all remember, in the second day in the afternoon, we saw the presentation of different countries, right? And we heard the different kind of challenges what they are facing. Not only that, the different kind of initiatives what they are taking for prachar. And it was so full with learning and motivation for us, that okay, if they are facing this problem, we are not facing it. It means we have a privilege, or we have an edge to do more prachar, because we don't have this problem like a language barrier. Along with that, we heard or we saw the presentations of like Kenya, South Africa, and Australia, how those teams were working collaboratively and doing few initiatives in the prachar. Same with Singapore team, what they did and what they are doing, different kind of initiatives in prachar. So those events were giving us, the ideas, the learnings, that what else we can do. So for me, that whatever was happening within Sukrit camp was an opportunity for us to learn, to see, to hear the experiences, and prepare ourselves for what we have to do when we will go back. So that was the second thing which I learned from there. And at the end, definitely it was filled with divinity when we were in the program. Either it was the Yagna, 25,000 Kunde Yagna, where we experienced the divinity of Sadgurudeo. And at the end, when we all went for the Amritvani, we all must have experienced that when Swamiji has started the Amritvani, the kind of vibrations spreaded all over the tent, and the kind of vibrations we all experienced in all the disciples, that was, that was enough to tell us that in what kind of event we came today, in what kind of power is being spreaded by Sadgurudev on that event. And at the end, my experience was, Sadgurudev has rightly said just before the event, that this event is going to be so divine that this will be one of the event of our life. Like, maybe there will not be such divine event we may get a chance to attend or not. So full with divinity, full with learnings, full with meeting new peoples. That was my overall experience. With this, I would like to conclude myself. Thank you very much for the opportunity and giving me the time to share my experience. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sridharji. Boli Shurdev Bhagwan ki jai.
Hey. Thank you, Sudhanshuji, for sharing your experiences. So I think one thing that came across consistently throughout these experiences is, words fall short. There are no words which can describe the experiences that disciples got during this event. So I think that is why it is said that you have to attend Varshikotsav. There is you can't just hear about it. Experience is what makes it so special. So Another thing that that came across is you when you attend these kind of events, you are basically learning. You're growing as a shishya. You're inching towards becoming ideal shishya. Performing selfless service. Having uh, the mindset or the feeling that I'm not there to attend the event, I'm there because my guru wants to be there. Just having that different perspective during attending these events, I think that is very important for all of us to keep in mind. Going there with open mind, learning new things, trying to make the connection much stronger with our guru, having building the faith, or the Varshikotsav basically helps us becoming a true and progress towards being ideal shishya. So thank you everyone for sharing your experiences. I would like to apologize to Lalmani ji and Yogesh ji, who were also agreed to share their experiences. So maybe we will try to listen to you some other time. But thank you everyone for sharing your experiences, especially the ones who could not attend the event. They actually got to experience it through your words. It was your experiences, it just made us speechless. We could feel the divinity that you all experienced. So thank you everyone for sharing your experiences. We really appreciate it. So looking at time, we will move on to the next section, which is Warriors of the Week. So we all know that the best time to meditate is Brahma Muhurat time, which is between 3 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. But somehow, all of us are not able to take advantage of this time. So to encourage all of us to take advantage of this time, Navy has started a WhatsApp group called Warriors of the Week. The goal of this group is to encourage everyone to meditate during the Brahma Muhurat time. In this, basically, there is no session to attend. You simply perform meditation or you practice meditation at your own between Brahma Muhurat time and simply send a message done in the group. It's just to motivate everyone, showing that people like us who are also involved in day-to-day activities can perform these can take advantage of this time. And so we can also take advantage of that time. It's not, if we are determined, it can be done. So people who have been meditating throughout the day, throughout the week, all 7 days are Amit ji, Bhagwati ji, Geet ji, Mukesh ji, Ranjani ji. My name is also there, Surya ji, Tejinder ji, and Yogesh ji. They have meditated every single day during last week. We also have inductees of the week. These are the disciples who have at least meditated once. I know these names are typically in the warriors of the week. So if you miss a day or two, it basically breaks your streak. But doesn't that doesn't matter, right? Trying to be on the right path is what we have to do. We may not be able to do it every single day, but not losing the hope and trying to be there, and take advantage of the best time to meditate is what all matters. So the inductees of the week for this week are Dave ji, Lalmani ji, Monica ji, Niranjan ji from California, Radha ji, Sriram Sahu ji, Tanuja ji, and Vijay ji. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you for encouraging all of us to take advantage of the best time to meditate. So with this, we have come to the last phase of our satsang. So we will be concluding this session with Guru Vandana, Aarti, and Shanti Pat. Vandana is the prayer through which we seek blessings of Sadgurudeo. We request well-being of health, wealth, and seek his blessings for our spiritual knowledge. So I would request Jessica ji to sing last 4 lines of Vandana. Over to you, Jessica ji.
Vandana. Prabhu Kalpa Santa Samaja Uttama Sarva Dharma Acharya He Jimi Nadia Ashrita Sindhu Ki He Vishwapathamaya Karye Prabhu Satya Santa Samaja Tira Aparaksha Kijiye Jana Sada Gyana Bhakti Riti Dina Dina Kijiye.
Thank you, Jessica ji. So we will now move on to our next prayer, which is Aarti. Aarti is a prayer through which we acknowledge the power of Almighty and pray that all disciples experience eternal joy, love, and freedom from worries under His holy guidance. I request everyone to stand up for the Aarti and again request Jessica ji to sing last 4 lines of Aarti.
Aarti. Jai Guru Deva Hare Sadgurudeo Hare Shisha Janana Ke Sanse Shana Me Dora Kare Jo Shanana Miyawe Satapata Pawe Mohamite Jivaka Sukha Shanti Vepawe Dukadamite Jagaka Guru Murati Gati Chandrama Sevakanayana Chakur Palaka Palaka Nirakatarahe Guru Murati Kiyo Shweta Shweta Maya Shweta He Shweta Shweta Maya Shweta Tina Pada Amrita Bara Shweta Mahanada Shweta Ashta Chakra Sabashunya Para Dara Kepa Tahasada Pala Karakia Puli Para Sansar.
Thank you, Jessica ji. I request everyone to now sit down for Shanti Path. Shanti Path is the prayer through which we chant for peace for everyone who exists in this universe. May Sadgurudeo bless the entire cosmos with peace, love, and prosperity. So again, request Jessica ji to recite the last few lines of Shanti Path. Over to you, Jessica ji.
Shanti Path. Hey Prabhu Shanti Swarupa Ho Shanti Shanti Maya Shanti 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 Jana Shanti Ho Purna Shanti Maya Shanti Hey Prabhu Shanti Pradana Kara Durva Ho Sarva Shanti Deva Sada Fulla Shanti Maya Shanti Shanti Sukha Shanti Holy Sadgurudeo Bhagavan Ki Jai.
Thank you, Jessica ji, for reciting prayers with such a devotional filled voice. So this concludes our session. I really would like to thank everyone who participated in today's session. Special thanks to Jessica ji, Megha ji, Sudhanshu ji, Dave ji, Niranjan ji for asking question. Also, would like to thank Lalmani ji and Yogesh ji for agreeing to talk in this session, and I really apologize for not giving you opportunity to express your thoughts. Also, thanking Geet ji for maintaining the Warriors of the Week list, and other people who basically make this satsang possible. Also, would like to thank all of you who are joining this satsang on regular basis and making this a success. Without you, this satsang would not be successful. So thank you, everyone. So we will again meet next week on the same bridge line at 10:30 a.m. EST. Until then, have a blessed day ahead, and I request I would pray to the Sadguru for your peaceful and spiritually filled week ahead. Thank you, and Jai Sadgurudev.